I started my channel with the intent of sharing my passion for aviation. But it's not just me. So part of my project is to share tips and tricks on how I capture video and show others how to do the same. In past videos, I've done this by showing how I use cameras on board the airplane to make myself a better pilot. I've reviewed options for cameras for those who are interested. So today, I want to go over how I rig cameras on board the airplane. Scenes like this are a far cry from when I first started flying 16 years ago. Back then, actually capturing onboard video was far more complicated. Imagine mounting that to the wing. Yeah, when I first started flying, I carried a VHS-C camcorder with me on board the airplane. In 2010, I upgraded slightly to a handheld digital camera, which gave me a little bit better opportunities to film. It was far more portable. But the disadvantage of it that I still had to actually hold it, so my opportunities to use it in flight were very limited. 2013 was the first time I got to use a GoPro on board the aircraft. GoPro was an awesome way to actually capture flight because now it was a camera that I could mount and not have to worry about. The only disadvantage to it was I only had one camera, so to get different shots I would have to move it around in flight. Today I carry 3 cameras on board every flight that I film, and I usually set these up in 3 positions to get all the angles that I want. Position 1 is a selfie cam. I'll mount this at the front of the aircraft looking back at the pilot and passengers, and I use this to capture intercom and ATC audio. Sometimes I'll use different positions of this camera just for a different shot, and sometimes because of the lighting that's coming into the cockpit. Position 2 is the over-the-shoulder cam. I like this shot because it shows what's happening in front of the aircraft, as well as control inputs and the instrument panel. Position 3 is the externally mounted camera. I like this shot because it provides a view of the aircraft, as well as the scenery around and below the aircraft. I'll usually put this camera in one of 3 different places. This one being the tie-down mount, the tail position mount, or on the wing looking back at the aircraft. I have a collection of custom mounts and accessories that I use to accomplish this, and I'll review those more in part 3 of this series. So now it's time to go over some of the guidelines that I call the 3 rules of in-flight videography that everyone should adopt prior to filming any flight. Rule number 1, just like your instructor always told you, fly the airplane. Having cameras on board the aircraft presents a distraction, and this is something you do not need to be dealing with in your cockpit resource management. Your primary focus should only be flying the airplane, managing your checklist, maintaining your instrument scan, traffic avoidance, and communications. Cameras should be mounted securely and in a way that you don't have to manipulate their controls. A good rule of thumb, mount the camera and forget it's even there. Focus on flying the airplane. Rule number 2, you are not Maverick, this is not Top Gun. Don't use Highway to the Danger Zone as your background music of your flying videos. It's degrading to pilots everywhere. To be more serious, at no point in time should you put yourself or the airplane in a compromising position with the intent of getting a good video. Let the shot come naturally. Don't chase it and don't put yourself in a bad position trying to get a good shot. Know your limits and know the airplane's limits. Do not exceed these with the intent of thinking that it's going to make some exciting YouTube footage. Rule number 3. Consider the wishes of the owner of the aircraft. For whatever reason, they may not want their aircraft being published online. If you're not the owner of the airplane, it's always a good idea to ask permission before filming it or taking any photos of it. Keep in mind that flight schools don't always own every aircraft in their fleet. These may be private-owned aircraft that are leased back to the flight school, so the aircraft's still getting operation rather than just sitting when the owner isn't flying it. Aircraft owners more than likely don't want adhesive GoPro mounts stuck all over their airplane. Get clearance before you try to do anything like this. Fuel's good, mixture's full rich. One last piece of advice, be cognizant about what you're posting online. Remember that the goal is to inspire future pilots and promote general aviation, not scare people away from it. Plus, you don't want to do something that's going to get regulators to notice you. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video gave you some ideas of how you can improve your own in-flight videos. If you like this video and want to see more videos like it, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button down below. You can also visit my website, wheelinthesky.com, to find out where you can connect with me on social media, share your own aviation story, and visit my partners' websites. As pilots, we have an amazing story to tell, and that's why I always encourage everyone to keep flying and keep sharing, because it truly is amazing out there.